Hi guys, DG Keanu here, and this is my guide entry for the end of summer guide competition by oh god. So this guide is about looting, in particular looting wars between clans in the wilderness. And yes, I know it is one of the most controversial ways to make money in the game. Let me give you the facts. In free-to-play, a 1 hour PK run-in, I could probably make about 3 to 5 mil. In pay-to-play, if I could find a pay-to-play fight, I could probably make 10 mil plus an hour. 3 to 5 mil an hour in free-to-play has got to be one of the best money-making methods in free-to-play going. It is not a guarantee, I will say that much, but why would you loot? Well, one, it's extremely fun if you're not actually fighting, and two, after a while you soon realize that the amount of variation there is between what you can do and how you go about doing it to make as much loot as possible in the time you have, it makes it a skill of its own. I've been looting since around 2007, so 4 years I think I can safely say I'll be level 99. This guide is just for free to play, no pay to play in this one, and it's going to run you through just the absolute basics and my preferences how to loot a free to play PK run-in. Okay, so requirements to loot. I loot on my main, so I strongly recommend you use your main or your highest combat level account as your primary looter, simply because the higher your combat level, the less chance you'll be targeted as a looter at first glance. I use the high ALCHS method, so you're going to need level 55 magic, and 55 woodcutting for the Waka canoe to return if you die is strongly recommended, but not required. In terms of your investment, I say roughly about 200k per death should do it. It's not much, and you are going to make like tenfold of that back from looting, so it is really worth it. First step is deciding on your gear. I strongly advise against naked looting because you stand out a lot less if you're in some kind of gear. I'm here in like pretty much a full room set minus the plate, swapped it for a dragon hide body. Staff fire, very important. Clan cloak, just because it shows I'm in a clan. Explorers ring 3. Inventory, you'll need about 100 nature runes. I have another 7 inventory spaces free, and the rest anchovy pizzas. You will also need a friend. I say friend lightly. Doesn't need to be dressed up in too much. I've got him here in pretty much a welfare setup. Dragon hide, defense ammy, a few inventory spaces free, and the rest pizzas. He's not actually going to be involved in the looting, but you want your friend to be more of a tank because you're going to be using him as sort of a bank in the middle of the wilderness. Your friend needs to be in a position where you can access quickly and easily, but not somewhere where he'll likely log in on top of a huge clan and get one hit. I personally like the red dragon gate, which is why we're up here, all ready to go and start looting. Okay, so you're all geared up and ready to go. Now you need to actually find a fight. Finding a fight is really about who you know that is already in a fight that can tell you the location and world. If you don't know anyone, the best bet you have is to go to the clans page on the RuneScape website to see who's out. Just search for any random clan, go onto their clan page, and click on clanmates. Now, the number they have online will say at the top, this clan has got 4. If the clan has a few people online in the same world, which you can check, that probably means they have a fight on. Few rules, smaller is better. The smaller clans will have less looters than the top clans, therefore less competition for you. Also, the closer you are to the start of the fight, the more loot you're going to get, so try and find the worlds that people don't know about, the ones that have started recently. Okay, looting is a lot about observation. Look closely at this guy here. You want to look for that, where the health bars drop and people die, and keep an eye on that square. In a few seconds, these clans are going to split off with different piles in different directions, just like that. But you want to stay around this main area, because when they all disperse, that's where your loot's going to appear. Skip forward about a minute to when the arrows start appearing. Arrows mean loot. 2 squares to the right of me. Wrong way. There we go, and once you see the loot, just go ahead and spam click it. Don't do what this guy does and attacks me. If you accidentally skull on someone lower level than you looting, that's a bad idea. But then go ahead and use your high ALCHS on the loot to high ALCH it, turn it into a cash pile, so you only use 1 inventory space for your loot. The table you're seeing now is correct as of August 21st, 2011. It compares grand exchange prices with how much you can ALCH the pieces of a rune set for. As you can see, not too much of a difference except with the rune kite, but that's only 4k, not that it matters. So that's why I ALCH. It makes all your loot into one convenient cash pile and saves your inventory for food you can use if you get hit. However, ALCHing does not always work, as with combat robes which some people use to bind in. The robe top goes for 61.8k in the GE and ALCHs at 1.8k, so that's a bad idea because you're wasting 60k there. If you do find one, just pick it up and leave it as it is, because you can just sell it later on at the cost of another inventory space. There's going to be loot absolutely everywhere in a war. Now, another good way to find loot is via arrow trails. Take a look at the minimap and see how the red dots for the adamant arrows lead up to the pile of loot I'm on. That's another helpful thing. The minimap will help you out a lot, especially if you're in a cluster and you can't tell what's going on or who's dying where. If one clan is going the other way, it may be worth hanging around where they've just came from in case you pick up something valuable, as you can see here. Take a look at the pile of loot here. If you see coins like that, always pick up the coins first, because that means the looter has just died and you may very easily double your cash pile. If the person who died was a ranger, then you can go ahead and pick up the arrows, because at the bottom of the arrow pile would be their own stack. 600 there would be a nice 57k for me. Of course, this means that when a person dies, they may not always have good loot, because the person who killed them in the clan will probably take the rune and ALCH it for themselves. If this happens, it might be a good idea to track the opposing clan and watch their kills, because you know there's a better chance you can get more rune as loot, and maybe something better like a cash pile. Do not get greedy when looting. About every mil or so, transfer your cash pile over to your friend. I'm going to log in onto a different world, and I will always log in first, so that my friend, who has the bigger cash pile in his inventory, doesn't get one hit in case we log in on top of someone else. At the very least, always hop to a different world just to be on the safe side. If you don't want to waste time going through the trade screens, then you can just drop the cash pile and let him pick it up. This is faster because items dropped in the wilderness will instantly appear. Every once in a while you will inevitably get attacked. This will probably be by a bunch of hypocrites who call you a looter when they're probably just looting themselves. To get them off you, just run around for a bit and eat 3 or 4 pizzas, because they will leave you alone, either A, once they see you have food, or B, once you leave the current loot spot. Don't worry, there's many more. If not, just go to any single zone, Mossy's, Spider, Single Strip, wherever you're closest to, and they usually get off you there. If not, they're probably only going to be about a small team of 3 or 4, and you can easily tank them out on your inventory. This is rare though, and usually they just give up. Dealing with Anticrash. Anticrash, or AC, is a looter's worst nightmare, because the main purpose of an AC, if there aren't no crashers, is to just kill looters while looting themselves. I would say if you find a war with an AC, get out of there and find a different war. If you do want to risk it, because the risk of dying will be much higher, then increase your transfers to every half a mil instead of every mil or so, and avoid the AC at all costs. Sometimes you may die. You're in the wilderness and people die. If you do die, there's really nothing to stop you coming back and looting again. Just like re-gear up at Edgeville, and if you got the 55 woodcutting, you can take the canoe back up and get straight back into the fight. When the war is over, the clan or clans left will spam something like good fight or ending. As soon as you see this, leave quickly. This means the war is over and the chances for more loot are minimal to none. That, and the clans left may or may not kill you for pure sport. Be happy with what you have and don't hang around. I'm on a different world now where my friend is going to trade me over my total earnings. I only made the last 10 or 15 minutes of the fight because I came in late, but still including arrows, that's about 925k. If I'd made the full hour, I probably would have in the realm of 3 or 4 mil, which is good considering there were top clans fighting. So I'm going to now make my way down to Edgeville. Some final notes. Avoid getting skulled, because getting skulled means you've been in combat and also you will lose all your items on death, which makes you a target for either ACs, clans fighting, or just looter kills in general. Sometimes it's inevitable, say like you click on a lower level by accident when you meant to click on loot. There's not much you can do about it there, but just try and avoid getting skulled overall. Number 2, avoid running into a cluster. If someone dies in a really big cluster and the cluster does not move, the chances are the loot will not appear. So don't bother. If the cluster and the clans move off somewhere else, that's your time to go in. But for the most part, just like stick around on the outside of the fight and observe. This will also help you out because a lot of clans who are wearing the same capes will use a left click to attack, so you can avoid getting hit if you're a lower combat level. Number 3, don't attack the fighting clans because this is crashing and it's one of the worst things you can do in a fight. If one of the people in the fighting clans attacks you, just say you're just watching and not fighting and they'll get off you. Number 4, don't attack other looters. You wouldn't want to be attacked yourself, so why kill someone else? Don't be too greedy. There's easily enough loot for everyone in any size fight. Finally, avoid taking food. You can take all the rune you want, just leave the food for the clans fighting, because they are going to need it more than you. But, of course, if it's somewhere really far off and you really need the food and there's no one else around to take it, fair enough. And I think I've covered everything I want to cover. So, thank you for watching my first proper public guide. Any questions or comments, leave a comment below and I'll get back to you. All the best, and happy looting.